This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for Monday, November 4th, 2024. I'm Marek Mazurek. Officials from Indiana's life sciences and higher education sectors are working together to help build a talent pipeline in biopharmaceutical manufacturing. A new result of all those partnerships is establishing BioTrain, a training institute designed to prepare talent for entry-level biomanufacturing roles. BioTrain will be located at a soon-to-be-constructed facility at the 16 Tech Innovation District near downtown Indianapolis. Vince Wong, CEO of Indianapolis-based BioCrossroads, told Inside Indiana Business that the goal is to meet ever-growing demand in biomanufacturing.
We estimate that we need about 2,400 to 3,700 employees in biopharma manufacturing every year for the next 10 years. And in order for us to meet that demand, we need to develop a infrastructure of training to make sure that we have a robust workforce to meet that.
Groups associated with BioTrain aim to break ground on the new building at 16 Tech within the next 6 months and be operational within 2 years. On Monday, Conexus Indiana announced CEO and longtime auto manufacturing executive Fred Cartwright will retire at the end of the year. Conexus is a statewide organization that supports and promotes Indiana's advanced manufacturing and logistics industries. For the past 3 years, Cartwright has led the nonprofit's efforts at coordinating manufacturing, grants, research, and marketing. In a release, Conexus said Cartwright plans to move to North Carolina with his wife in order to be closer to his family. Conexus and its parent organization, the Central Indiana Corporate Partnership, are launching a search for a new CEO. Conexus credited Cartwright with expanding the group's partnership with the IEDC through the Manufacturing Readiness Grants, which are grants funded by the IEDC and organized by Conexus. Since 2020, those manufacturing readiness grants have resulted in $57 million in reimbursement for small and mid-sized manufacturers who invest in new technology. Before joining Conexus in 2021, Cartwright spent 33 years with General Motors. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
IBJ Media, Inside Indiana Business, and the Indiana Economic Development Corporation invite you to the Engage Indiana series, presented by CareSource, Indiana University, and Old National Bank. With an unrelenting focus on growing Indiana's economy, we'll dive into each region's unique challenges and distinct opportunities for growth. 9 regions, 1 goal. Indiana's bold future starts here. Discover more and register at ibj.com/engage.
In late 2022, the leaders of Purdue University, Ascension St. Vincent, and the city of West Lafayette donned white hard hats to mark the groundbreaking for a neighborhood hospital in the Discovery Park District at Purdue. But 2 years after that groundbreaking, the planned $25 million development has little to show for itself. The 7-acre site sits empty, with no indication that anything is coming soon. It remains unclear whether a new hospital is ever coming to West Lafayette, and if so, what it will look like or when it will happen. A Purdue spokesman told the IBJ that Purdue Research Foundation is, quote, actively working with Ascension on plans at that location. But Ascension St. Vincent declined to offer specifics. Stefan Mason-Cup, a chief strategy officer for the Indiana hospital system, told IBJ in an interview this month that it is in deep conversations with Purdue about what kind of services to provide. He declined to offer an overview of those possible options. The lack of specifics have prompted some industry observers to speculate that Ascension St. Vincent's parent, St. Louis-based Ascension Inc., never fully signed off on the original deal. If Ascension St. Vincent were to radically overhaul the original plan for a small hospital in West Lafayette, that could mean a final blow to the hospital system's grand experiment with tiny street corner hospitals, which it originally rolled out less than a decade ago. For more details about this story, head to InsideIndianaBusiness.com. The Ball Brothers Foundation has awarded more than $5 million in its fall round of grants, including money for school initiatives, museum support, environmental stewardship, and community development. The foundation annually awards more than $8 million to support initiatives related to arts and culture, education, the environment, health, human services, and public affairs. The Muncie-based private foundation, established in 1926 by the family who launched the Glass Jar Manufacturing Company, prioritizes projects and programs that improve the quality of life in the foundation's home city of Muncie. For a list of groups receiving grant money, head to InsideIndianaBusiness.com. The Chief Transformation Officer at Community Health Network, Patrick McGill, is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast hosted by Gary Dick, presented by PNC. A weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Mark Mazurik for Inside Indiana Business Radio On Demand.